All right, y'all, let's talk about The Secret Life of Bees, but from a spiritual perspective. Let's get into it. The Secret Life of Bees is a film that confused so many people when it first came out, and it's mainly because it was centered around her, the Black Madonna. The Secret Life of Bees is set in South Carolina in the year of 1964, and it opens up by introducing us to Lily, who's played by Dakota Fanning. Lily is a young 14-year-old girl whose dominant memory is unaliving her own mother. Because her mother passed away, she is primarily cared for by her father, and her father is very abusive. Now, when looking at this film through a spiritual lens, it's important to note that Lily is dealing with what's called a mother wound. Her trauma is centered around not only growing up in a household with an abusive father, but the fact that she is seeking the nurturing of her mom. She misses her mother deeply. When a young woman grows up without a mother, or even with a mother physically present but not emotionally present, there's a mother wound there. There is the desire for nurturing, a desire for emotional connection that is just missing, unfulfilled. Now, it's important to note that in Lily's mother's keepsakes, there's a jar of honey, and on that jar of honey, there's this label with the Black Madonna, and it says Black Madonna honey, Tiburon, South Carolina. So Lily decides she's going to go on a journey to Tiburon, South Carolina to find out her mother's story, her mother's legacy. But Lily didn't go alone. She decided to take Rosalie, who was her caregiver. Rosalie had been stopped by a group of white men who was accusing Rosalie of sneaking off to a secret Negro meeting, because keep in mind, this is 1964 South Carolina. Baby, in protest of being accused of going to this secret Negro meeting and being accused of not even being able to spell her own name, Rosalie took her snuff juice and wrote her name out over the man's foot with her snuff juice. They ended up beating her up and locking her up. Baby Lily was not having it. Once Lily decided to make her run for it to Tiburon, South Carolina to find out her mother's story, she decided to also break Rosalie out and take her on a journey with her. Now, it's important to note here that this journey to Tiburon, South Carolina is not just about Lily. It's also to help Rosalie deal with her own trauma, heal from her own trauma, the trauma of dealing with overt racism in 1964 South Carolina, the trauma of not being able to overtly identify and exist and live as a Black woman. Now, Lily and Rosalie are on their journey, and on their way, they stop at a restaurant where Lily spots the same jar of honey that was in her mother's keepsakes. She asks the restaurant owner, "Whose jar is this? Where did you get it from?" He tells her, and then that's when she makes it to the Boatwright house.
Miss, you changed your mind?
Where did you get those?
Oh, I know what you mean. Virgin Mary's pictured as a colored woman. But see, the woman that makes the honey is colored herself. Best honey in South Carolina.
What is her name?
August Boatwright.
Now, when Lily and Rosalie arrive to the Boatwright house, they meet the three Boatwright sisters, August, May, and June. They also meet the Black Madonna, and this is where the spirituality gets thick in the film. Baby, when The Secret Life of Bees came out, a lot of people were shocked when they saw this Black Madonna depiction. But honey, the Black Madonna is not new. The Black Madonna is the Virgin Mary, Mother Mary, Jesus Mama, depicted with darker skin along with Jesus. The story and the history of Black Madonna has been studied since the late 1800s. Why? Because images of the Black Madonna or the Black Mary has been depicted in Catholic churches and Orthodox Christian churches all throughout Europe, Ethiopia, Egypt, and many other places. And baby, there are a variety of pictures, sculptures, and many more forms of art that show the Black Madonna. Historically, the Black Madonna has represented the divine feminine, the holy mother energy. Now, for those of you who are not familiar, the divine feminine is energy, and we all, no matter your gender identity, we all carry divine feminine energy within us. This is a list of characteristics, energetic characteristics of the divine feminine. Now, when you have a healthy relationship with the divine feminine energy within you, when it's balanced and well, you may display some of the characteristics from the previous list or from this side of this list here. However, when you are dealing with mother wounds, when you have issues with being nurtured, anything that could have blocked or hindered your divine feminine energy, abuse, trauma of any sort, you may have wounded feminine energy. Now take note of the wounded feminine traits. Why? Because the Boatwright sisters are a manifestation of the wounded feminine and the divine feminine. May Boatwright was the sister that captured the hearts of a lot of people. She was the wounded feminine energy that expressed herself as being overly emotional, overly empathetic, and really carried the grief of the world. Now, another thing I loved about this film is that they identified wellness practices that could help you cope with wounded divine feminine energy. May's wellness practice was the Wailing Wall. Now let's get into June Boatwright, played by Alicia Keys. June Boatwright was a manifestation of wounded divine feminine energy, and she was really blocked divine feminine energy, blocked out of fear of being too vulnerable, too emotional, too open, and getting hurt. Baby, she had a whole man that loved her down and wanted to marry her, and she was rejecting it out of fear. Blocked divine feminine energy. Fear of accepting love, fear of vulnerability, blocked divine feminine energy, wounded divine feminine energy. Then we have August Boatwright, played by the incomparable, amazing, divine Queen Latifah. And August Boatwright is a representation of balanced divine feminine energy. She's nurturing, she's empathetic, but she also has boundaries. She's a teacher, she's a caregiver, but she also self-cares as well. Now, August Boatwright is the sister who chose to take Lily and Rosalie into the house. She told them the stories of each of the sisters. She also taught them about the bees and the honey. She also taught them about the Black Madonna.
It's been a while since we told the story of our Mary. And since we have visitors here who've never heard it, I thought we'd tell it again.
That's right. Tell the story.
Back in the days of slavery, our people would go to the praise house on Sunday and ask the Lord to send them rescue. One day, a slave named Obadiah was loading bricks onto a boat, and he saw something that had washed up on the shore. Moving closer, he saw that it was the wooden figure of a woman. Her body was growing out of a block of wood. A black woman, with her arm lifted up and her fist balled out. And to his shock, he heard her voice, clear as day. She said, "It's all right. I'm here. I'll be taking care of you now." And Obadiah knew at that moment that God had sent her. Now, everyone knew the mother of Jesus' name was Mary, and that she was strong and constant and had a mother's heart. And here she was, sent to them across the same waters that had brought them there in chains. Seemed like she knew everything they suffered. Everything. And so the people went up, one at a time, and touched their hand to her chest, wanting to grab on to the solace in her heart. Mary filled their hearts with fearlessness. She said, and if they ever grew weak, they had only to touch her heart again.
Now, unfortunately, the film took a tragic turn when Zach, played by Tristan Wiles, was kidnapped for breaking segregation laws after taking Lily to the movie. May was so overcome with grief that she ended up unaliving herself. When August noticed that Lily was blaming herself for all of the events that had transpired, August sat Lily down and told her the story of her mother. That helped heal the mother wounds, the divine feminine energy wounds that was within Lily. August also saved Lily from being taken back home by her father. After he found out where he was, he came to get her. August stopped the whole thing. So the film ends beautifully because Zach ends up coming home, not allowing his trauma to have blocked or wounded his divine feminine energy, his ability to nurture and care, be empathetic, be a safe space. Lily also has now been told the story of her mother, so her mother wounds are now healed. Her divine feminine energy heightens. Rosalie has been taken in by the sisters and she is now July, so she now has the freedom to identify safely and wholly as a Black woman. And of course, August Boatwright is well and still balanced, even after dealing with all of the trauma that she dealt with. And June says yes to her man. She finally accepts the love she deserves. Overall, The Secret Life of Bees is a film that is centered in healing and building a healthy relationship with your own divine feminine energy. Also, if you notice, Lily and Rosalie are both named after flowers, and throughout the movie, we get to watch them bloom and bud until they finally flourish and become their full, healthy, divine feminine selves. Go watch Secret Life of Bees, y'all, from a spiritual perspective. Much love.